Hey, hey! Figured I'd start the stream since I've got B. Gardner in here. Alright, can you hear my audio, B. Gardner? It's good to see you. Thanks for showing up. Oh, I should actually tweet this. There we go. Boom. I am now live. Okay, that's all I needed. That's probably the first time I actually put out a tweet saying I was live, I think. Smooches! Hey, how's it going? A long time. You excited for seeing some of this craziness? See if we can get a little bit of a group going here before I really get into it. Either way, it's recorded, so people can watch it, right? But yeah. You guys working and stuff right now, or are you guys home and just enjoying some downtime? I don't hear myself, which I don't know if that's bad or good. Home sewing, fun. That is not something that I would do too much unless I really, really had to, but there is a chance I would do some sewing. All right. Gonna be a bit rusty. Get some music going here, I guess, just for a little bit. Two viewers. Well, I guess I don't want to delay this too much, so I guess we will get into... Actually, you know what? I was not quite thoughtful enough, and I did not open my Earth 2 account. Just one sec. Just hide this a sec. Ugh. There we go. 214 adverts. I have adverts on. What? I don't remember putting adverts on. I must have. Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Alright. Turn that back on. Well, do I get at least some revenue from that? I don't know. Maybe I'll donate the revenue to charity or something then, eh? Make it worth it. Oh, before you were allowed to. Yeah, maybe for first timers, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at some settings. I haven't really touched any of my settings really since the last stream, so there's a few things I could probably get sorted a little bit better. Alright, looks like this is the ship I'm gonna be picking on because it's already open in Earth 2. Alright, well, I'm going to show you how you can download this straight from the map, and I am also going to show you how you can download from the marketplace. So, everybody knows about F12? If not, you do now. This is something I learned a little bit from Griffin, so I want to thank Griffin for helping me at least figure out how to get to the GLB. So whether he regrets it or not, I'm not sure, but either way, I thank him. So you'll want to make sure you're at the network portion. Is this music too loud for me chatting? Just let me know. But yeah, you go to the network portion, and then I like to filter GLB so it just shows up what I'm looking for. So what happens is if you open this and then you already have Earth 2 or the viewer open, you won't actually see anything, and you'll actually need to refresh. When you refresh, it brings you farther out. Straight lagging. What? Okay. I'm gonna stop my recording since it's gonna be, just let me know if this is better. I'm just trying to, I've got really good upload speed, like 900 and something megabytes, so I should be hopefully good on this end. But yeah, just if we can. Okay, I'm turning down the music just a little bit. All right. So yeah, as you can see, if I just refresh, the screen will reload in the Holobuilding view, and you'll get a whole bunch of Holobuildings that are loaded in the screen, and they'll show up on here. I'm gonna go to full screen mode. Sorry about that. All right. So yeah, you'll see all of these GLBs loaded on, and you don't really know what's what. But if you zoom way in to what you want, just go back to the default mode and then back into, oh wait, no, let me okay. This is not going to be, sorry. I'm going to try refresh it where I'm not. What is this craziness? Sorry, I have my alerts below everything. I can't even see what happened. B. Gardner subscribed. Well done. Thank you, sir. And I will make sure my alerts are on top so I actually see that. And I have a hard time reading this with the white as well. All right, let's see. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Again. Let's see if I can figure this one out again. No, as soon as I go over there, they load. All right. Okay, sorry. I did this before, and I had a good time with it. But right now, tell you what, I'm just going to go straight to the marketplace. Nope, that's not where they are. Throws me off. I am going to go to resources. Why are they in the resources? I don't know. Anyways, kind of throws me off every time. Always go to the marketplace thinking that, well, they'd be in the marketplace, right? So, all right. I think it's just going to load whatever is here. I'll have to figure out how to clear that, I guess, before. But either way, the new thing that showed up was this one. And this is Flevius, who is actually in the Discord chat right now. So you can check out his beautiful tree. And if I double click, it will download. So now in my downloads folder, I have my downloaded GLB. See if I actually got the right one. Yes, I did, I think. Yep, that's the right one. So you can see that now I have the GLB of the Holobuilding. However, it is a compressed one, and you can't open it with regular viewers right now. You're in a terrible area. I think you'll rebroadcast. All right. Sorry about that, B. Gardner. Hopefully you can at least enjoy watching the VOD, and thanks again for the subscription. All right, go to the right. You can scroll down. Sorry, this is Creators 3D Online, and I was going to drop that link. Copy. You're going to have to forgive my really rough stream here. But this is why I did a stream, so that if I miss something, that hopefully everybody can make a comment and be like, Dave, you sucked right there. Can you talk about this, please? All right, so now you can download as an object. If you try to download as a GLB, it will not download because it is already a GLB. It's just a compressed GLB, which is not very useful. So you're going to want to download your object file. So now I have an object file, and it is not really what I want it to be called. So, I mean, you can go to the Earth 2 site, and it's tree by Flevius. So, you know, tree by Flevius. All right, and that is now an object file. So same idea with the actual Holobuildings that are on the property here. See, no, I can't do that. Okay, typically what I do is I just go through all of these until I find what I want. I did figure it out at one point where I could just switch between the map view and then it would just give me a single fresh. Actually, you know what? If I start in here, refresh, that should clear everything. Okay, so start in map view, refresh it at least when you're there. I know it's about here. Now I can go to the Holobuilding. There we go. There. Now I just have one Holobuilding, and it will be that one. Okay, got that figured. So that was my C61 blah blah blah, and that was a ship. The only thing about doing this is you don't actually know who the creator is, and I don't really recommend it unless you're just playing around. So you're taking other people's designs. It's really not great. It is something that is able to be done, and honestly, Earth 2 should probably do something about that. I would prefer to see it so that we can download our own, because I do like playing around with them, but yeah, we shouldn't really be able to download other people's. So now if I drag the ship into here, you can see now I have the GLB of this ship, which I will also download as an object. One sec. Yeah, shouldn't really name on the same thing. I've got folders organized, and I've kind of gone through and just made sure I labeled everything that I've downloaded properly. And then if you want to bring, like what you'll see as an object, it removes the color. Do they say they need to be accessible for the file to be viewer? Possibly, but I mean, they even like watching the Callum video, right? I don't know. It sounds like there are ways of making it so that I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about this stuff, but what I can say is that I appreciate being able to download this stuff, but it does lend itself to people just doing whatever the heck they want with your Holobuildings now. So like I can create an NFT out of any of this stuff if I wanted to. But yeah, so now you can see if I re-upload the GLB, there's no color options. You can re-download as a GLB in here as you want. And I'll call this ship GLB. Hello, hello. What was that? Did somebody... I heard an alert, but I don't see anything showing up. Did somebody subscribe and I just missed this? Nope. Oh, Flevius. There we go. Flevius followed me. Thank you, Flevius. I'm still learning how to use Twitch smoothly. It's going to be a while, I'm pretty sure. So we won't talk about it. All right. So now in Blender, I will also drop the Blender link here. Even though it's pretty... what's going on? Oops, wrong keyboard. This is the problem with having two keyboards. All right, there we go. So now, if you want to download Blender, Node Lite, not Nude Elite. Node Elite. Thank you for the follow. Nude Elite. Yeah, whatever you do on your spare time, I mean, but yeah, Node Elite. I'll say that right. All right, now that we have Blender, you can directly import your GLB or object. So if you here, let me show you what I mean. If I go into my downloads and I download and I try to open the compressed file that I downloaded from Earth 2, it'll give you an error saying the mesh opt. Let me do that again. If you move your mouse, it gets rid of that. Yeah, there we go. Extension mesh opt compression is not available with this add-on version. So this is the first issue I went on to. I tried to figure out what mesh opt compression was, and I discovered that there was a lot of people with other programs that were trying to figure out how to make these new compressed objects usable. So I knew at some point there would be a method to actually use it, because I mean, if everybody wants to do something, they're eventually going to figure out how to do it. So now that we figured out how to do it, oh, I did actually find this Creators 3D link. I didn't find it, sorry. The Creators 3D viewer where I can convert was actually shown to me in the Discord, the drone Discord. There was a member there. I can't remember his name right now, but shout out to unknown anonymous guy. You can search my name and figure out. We had a chat about it, but yeah, he showed me this specific site where I could convert it, because I had already been trying a few different things. All right, so I'm just gonna go straight to. I'll download the other GLB now. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. All right, so I've got ship GLB. So that, yeah, sorry. When I renamed it, it's, yeah, so I named it ship GLB, so it's shipglb.glb. All right, so when you import into Blender, you won't see it right away because the coordinates are so far out and the scale is so big. So don't freak out. If you see it in the right under the scene collection, then it's there. So make sure it's selected. I like to go 0.01 on my scale, XYZ scale, so just rescale everything. That'll make it a more manageable size. And if I scroll out, you can actually see it now. Before it was huge. And then also I like to go to the Object tab and set origin and set the geometry to the origin. So that'll bring, because your origin starts out in the center. So what that'll do is it'll bring everything in. I'll just hit 1, that'll bring me my front view, and then I'll hit G, Z, and that'll allow me to kind of just bring it up on the Z axis here so that I can, I think it's important to place it properly in Blender so that when you bring it into Adobe Aero, it kind of places properly in the scene. Because if I had it way out, then it would place way out in Adobe Aero as well. So AR would get messed up. So where you set your point of origin here in relation to the center point, this is basically how it will place in Adobe Aero. Excuse me. And you know what, just for fun, I am going to import the object file that I downloaded from Flavius here, this tree. And again, that's way out. There it is. I'll rescale it. Hydrate, posture. Oh yeah, I felt a crack there. Thanks. Guess I needed that one. Definitely doing a bit of heavy work around the house, renos and stuff. You can also hit S rather than just, and you can scale accordingly. But because it's so huge, like you basically have to get it right down to the center if you're starting with the fresh object before you'll even see it. All right, now I have the GLB from the ship that was converted to an uncompressed GLB, and then I have the ship, which I downloaded as the object. So both of them are importable, and I will export both of these as a scene, a GLB as well. So let's get to colorizing. Oh yeah, another thing to note, your highlight on the outside of the model in Blender, if it's a dark orange, it means you have multiple things selected typically, like this. So you see I have two things, so one's a dark orange, one's light orange. So if you want to select one object and you see it's a dark orange, just deselect it and then reselect. But then yeah, you can go to the materials little tab here and just go to your base color, and you can you also want to change your render. You're at the top right here, you have different view modes. So yeah, I like to do viewport shading. But yeah, then you can select whatever color you want on the color scale. Excuse me. And then let's colorize this tree. If you're wondering how to do actual materials, I did download Extreme PBR. It's pretty awesome. You can see quite a large selection of different material. And then they come up quite nice. And then you can just hit replace. I'm just going to show you the mesh. The meshes aren't great for showing. You're going to have to do UV editing on it. And honestly, I'm not going to do it right now because a lot of times it just sits there and takes a while. And I don't want to just sit here and have to reload my computer. So I try not to do too many textures unless it's something like maybe a metal. I can choose whatever, gold or whatever. There. Okay. So now we've got two different, we got just a plain texture or plain color, and then I've got a texture. There is a bit more work we can do on texturing. If you hit tab and go into edit mode, you can actually see all your squares have triangles, and I'm not sure if it's part of the issue with do I fancy coming on for an interview? I think you might have a cool E2 perspective. I hadn't thought to ask you. Well, you know what, Pacey? I would love to. You just send me a list of questions and I will work on that and try to figure out what answers I can give you. That would be awesome. Earth2 Viking followed me. Thank you, Earth2 Viking. Great to see you here. You'll have to forgive my little voice issues. I've been doing some stuff with dust and yeah, not wearing proper masks or anything for that, so I'm kind of regretting it a little bit right now with all the talking. All right, so I'm in edit mode. I was just showing you that your squares basically that are in Earth 2 actually end up turning into triangles, and you end up with a lot of extra vertices and faces and stuff like that. So doing your UV editing and even trying to redo this, because there's a modifier that you can usually use, and it's called remesh, and you can usually fix some of these issues with a remesh, but it'll actually lock up my computer for quite a while. So I'm not even going to try. However, there are some roundabout ways that you can do it. So if you click off and deselect everything, you can, I'm on nodes. If I select faces, there. So I select these two faces, I can dissolve them together. So I can bit by bit, I can merge some of these faces together, which will, in the long run, like if you've got a fairly simple flat Holobuilding, and you want to just make the whole face a nice even texture, this is what I would at least recommend doing. But for a tree like this with so many different pieces, it just wouldn't be worth it. But yeah, anyways, I will move on. Surprise. You'll DM me. Okay. What's this? Sorry, I missed something here. You don't get the question beforehand. Sorry. Oh, sounds good. All right. Surprises work too. Yeah. Sometimes not great on the fly, as you can tell with my streams, but we'll make this fun. Okay. Now we've kind of gone over lightly just the importing. So we've gone over downloading, we've gone over importing. Now you can export this whole scene once you're done playing around with it as a GLB. And I'm just going to put it into my downloads, and I'm just going to leave it as mashup. Okay. So now, typically you know what, I'm just going to turn off because I'm not sure what I'm going to show here. So I'm just going to do this, and I am going to move that file into my OneDrive because my OneDrive is hooked up with my Aero account as well. I just want to make sure that I'm just going to, yeah, I was going to show you a different file. I'm just going to keep going with the same file so you can at least see the process. It's just not going to be the smoothest. All right, almost there. Mash up. There we go. And it is uploaded. Okay. Turn that back on. All right, so this is something that I've just figured out how to do. I am going to use my phone on the stream. I'm going to open Adobe Aero first. And let's see if this works. Something's not working here. Okay, one sec. I might just need to reopen that. Yeah, it's not connected again. I probably was off of it for too long and it just disconnected, so you'll have to give me a sec. Yeah, there we go. Logging in. I'm using Let's View. If anybody's wanting to try add the use of their iPhone to their Twitch stream, you can do computer to computer. You can do you can mirror your phone to it. It's actually pretty neat. All right. That is not right either. I'm gonna have to reopen it. Yep, there we go. So it doesn't recognize every, like if you open a new instance, you have to reload it for some reason. Because a lot of times when you have a window that you're opening, it'll recognize the same name. Yeah, I just don't know why it's not picking up on that. So you just gotta I just gotta reload it every time. Whatever is what it is. Let's try to fit this whole thing in here. It's the only downside about the long and skinny phone. It doesn't make for the nicest screen. All right, so now I'm in Adobe Aero. I can hit the plus. It'll want you to find a surface. When I'm close, it doesn't actually do a really good job, but I'm working with what I got. So yeah, now that I've got a surface found here, I'll hit the plus, and then you'll see you can either go from your camera roll, your Creative Cloud, or files. So I just do files. I'm already logged into my temp folder that I use in OneDrive. So mashup, there we go. So there's my mashup GLB. I'm pretty sure, yeah, there we go. So you'll see it loading. I'll tap it to place it. Oh, there we go. So now you can see I think it's lagging a little bit just because I'm streaming from it. So in edit mode, you can select your ship, you can rotate it, you can do whatever, you can scale it. Whoops, that's pretty crazy. Anyways, you can add behaviors. This is the coolest part. And I'm just going to catch up on my chat here a sec. You haven't been on Twitch for ages, Earth2 Viking. Yeah, it's when Guidebook Gaming was going, that was good times. It's unfortunate where that went, but no, that was definitely good times. And lots of beer. First time, awesome. Well, no delete. Welcome, and I'm glad that I could be your first person to view. As fun as this might be. All right, so in Adobe Aero, you can add triggers, and you can do start, like when you first load it. You can make it do things. You can do tap, so that when you tap your screen, it'll do things. Proximity enter, you can change how close you get to your AR object, and then it'll do something. Or when you do proximity exit, it will change what happens when you leave the area, and you can adjust the distances on that. So I'm just going to do tap because that's the easiest one. And then you can allow re-triggering immediately or after actions complete or never. So a few different options there. I'm just going to do immediately. Doesn't really matter. And then you just check the box down there. And then that just sets what your kind of action, or what sets the action. And then you've got quite a list here. You've got play animation, images, play audio, path move, spin. Spin, I'm just going to do, you can go through that later. You can choose the axis that it spins on. You can choose the duration for how long it spins. So I'm just going to do not 23 seconds, too long. All right. So then if you can test it, you can press play. You can see, do I like that? You can reverse the direction, change the speed, play it. You can tweak your settings before you actually like put them in place. So then when you're happy with what you got, you just check mark. And then when you're done with mucking around, you can just hit preview, and it'll just get rid of all that grid stuff. And now because I have the tap set up, if I tap my screen, it just sits there and does the action that I set for it. So kind of cool. And it's nice too with the Holobuildings, because you can get close to it and you can actually see how it was built inside. So you can see, oh, there's stairs inside. That's pretty cool. Well, it's not stairs, it's actually the outside of the ship. But you know what? For the sake of just it being cool, let's just say those are stairs, okay? So yeah. So then when you record, you can just press the button. It'll actually allow you to choose recording screen with the microphone or a screen only. And then, yeah. Oops. Okay, well, it might not do it because I'm screen mirroring. There's certain things that you can't do when you're screen mirroring. So either way, gives you an idea of Adobe Aero. Turn that off. Stop my screen sharing. All right. Well, what'd you guys think of that? That's posture check and hydrate. You know what? Pacey, I was actually gonna change the cost of that to 1,000 just because of the last time you guys made me drink like crazy, and I did not get around to it. All right, so now that you've got some Holobuildings, what else? Yeah, OpenSea. So I did my test NFT here, as you probably might have seen. So this is in OpenSea. I made a gold shaman. Create. All right. So you can see here, file type supported. Our GLB is in there. You have a max size of 100 megabytes. So okay, so I'm just going to take, oh, where did my mashup go? I must have dragged the whole thing right into, whatever. I don't care. You guys can see this. Mash up. Boom. All right, so now I have my GLB that I made, and I can set it up as an NFT. So honestly, you can do whatever you want, just like a typical object file. So pretty cool. Well, it's a lot of mucking around. I'll show you just a few more things here. Actually, if I go to the world, because I have the I have Extreme PBR for the materials, but then I have Pro Lighting Studio as well, which I really like for creating little videos and stuff. It's not optimized for Eevee, which is part of it's a rendering whatever for Blender. So you have a rendering engine called Eevee, Workbench, and Cycles. Tell you what, I'm going to go into render mode here. You can see this is like I got no lights, no nothing. If I go into my Pro Lighting Studio, I'm not going to click the enable cycles because it renders differently. And I'm going to set this as my subject. So now you can see, like, I can play around with different presets for lighting. So this is a super, out of two add-ons I would suggest are worth downloading for Blender. It would be a good materials add-on and a good lighting add-on. So makes a huge difference. And then I'm just going to enable cycles here, and then you can see it renders out a little bit differently. And then you probably can't see it, but you can see that there's noise in the cycles engine. It does do a lot nicer job, but you have to set it up for denoising as well, which there you go. It clears a lot of that up, and you just get a slightly better rendering quality, but it takes time, so you're paying for it with time. This is the gold setting, which you can muck around with. Different metallic ranges, roughnesses. But yeah, it's cool. So I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to look at, but I will. Yeah, I didn't really show you fully the Pro Lighting here. There's a background. This is where I did the smoke and stuff for that one video on Twitter, if you haven't seen that. There's a floor that you can enable. I'm just going to put it back onto the Eevee. So depending on what you're doing, Eevee still makes nice stuff depending on how you want to play around with it. And it renders way faster. So excuse me. So I don't know. Do you think that was enough of a video? 3 hydrates. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll drink 3 times, even though I probably had 1 or 2 in there. All right. I'm caught up, I think. Right? Right. Get some music. So aside from this, I got a lot I can do today, so wasn't sure how busy it would be in here. I mean, if I had to be on here for a few hours, whatever, I would have done it. I got an appointment kind of around noon, so I still got a couple hours. More hydrating. All right. Yeah, it's not the best cough. I've gone through some shit. Way back in the day before silica control and all that stuff was a thing, I did landscaping, and I've probably ingested so much just pure concrete dust. Yeah. Should stick it on YouTube, eh? Yeah, I'm gonna have to tweak it up, I think, a bit more, but start deleting some of this ugliness that I have in here, but shading looks epic. Yeah. I'm gonna open up. Actually, I'm not gonna save that. I really like this Lotus. Oh, you know what? Jason. Yeah, I was talking to Jason. I totally was gonna give Jason a little bit of a show in here too. So I'll make sure I open that up yeah, like I was hoping to prep a little bit more for this. But yeah, I'm pretty busy these days, so I just wanted to get the stream done. So because I know there's so many people that are asking how to do this, and honestly, the amount of times that I have to go to that I've been going out of my way just to say, hey, this is, you know, it's just, you know, I'm gonna do a stream and hopefully get that out of the way. But this one I wanted to do because it shows you can use the Holobuildings as a display feature for other Holobuildings. And like things like these little cards, I made these little display cards in Photoshop, and then I imported them in as well. So, I mean, just little things that you can add for display. It's, you know, nothing that Earth 2 has added to make Earth 2 awesome, but it's the ability to download your Holobuildings and just muck around is just something else you can do, and it's kind of fun. So, looks a bit shady. It is a bit shady. So, but yeah, because it is nice. It is downloaded content from Earth 2, and Shane has made comments, you know, about legal action, about selling these items outside of Earth 2. So I mean, it is an E2 asset right now. Like, these are not mine. I'm just displaying them. I'm not making any money off them. Like my NFT that I have, basically, that, you know, as long as a chunk of it gets donated to charity, I believe it's acceptable. Like, I talked to Kissy, and she's like, you know what, as long as not Kissy, wow, sorry, Miss T, Lizzie. So yeah, I talked to her, and yeah, she said, yeah, as long as, you know, a portion gets donated to charity, that's acceptable. So I do have, I don't know if you can actually see it. This is, I did set it up so that you can do a charity donation on the stream. I've never done that before. I don't know. Is there like a button that you guys can see? Because I don't see anything. So I'm not actually watching my own stream either, because I didn't want to have that rendering or that network lag from that. But yeah, I'm going to actually open one of Jason's here because I said I would, and I really like his Blue Jay Cafe. No, I can't open it like that. Sorry. I have to import. New. New general. Don't save. So yeah, you start out with a box. Just delete that box. I just downloaded these yesterday, so I never got a chance to rescale or anything. And I just have them downloaded as object, or I have them converted as objects. Ugh, where am I? There we go. All right, and I still have to rename them. So yeah, I'll just show you a sec, rather than, because you can change your scale in the XYZ portion here just by typing it in, but I can just scale it way down just by hitting S. But like I gotta come right in, or just do multiple times. But yeah, definitely set your origin, your geometry to the origin at the beginnings, just so that everything's centered. And then if you really need to tweak it, then yeah, just set it up. This one actually, you know what, works really good for editing, but you can see all the different triangles that are making this an issue for when you're doing nice material. But you know, you can just go through all these flat objects. In edit mode, I just press C here. Ugh, I gotta change it to faces. Yeah, so on the top you can see I got node, line, and faces. So if you press C, you can get multiples. You can just drag it along and highlight multiple objects at the same time. And then middle click will delete. Scroll will change the size. And then once I've got what I want here, I can just dissolve the faces. So that kind of you know, if this was mine and I really wanted to spend the time, I would just go through everything and just merge all of these individual triangles into a single face. Because yeah, now that when I select it, like instead of it being all those triangles, it just selects as one thing. So now that it's selected, there's one to the left. No, that's fine. I'm not really expecting any donations. I just wanted to set it up and see what it kind of popped up like. It's funny because you only have American charity options. I guess just Twitch being American, it's just easier for them to set that up that way. But all right, so now I will show you. Not only can you dissolve the faces, in here you can separate. So you can separate by selection, by material, loose parts. Because everything has one material, you just want to do by selection. So now you can see that it's orange, meaning it's outside of this selection. So if I hit tab, now you can see I have two separately selected objects here, or materials. So rather than changing my material like here, because both of these share the same material, I want to delete this material and create a new material. So now I'm gonna go to the right shading port. All right, so now I've got that section of blue and that section another color. So you can go in and you can go separate all these different feathers out. You can separate everything that you want and apply a different material to them that way. So yeah, I was hoping Jason would be online, and that's kind of why I forgot about displaying. Oh, nobody's actually in the chat right now anyways, so yeah. Either way, sorry about that, Jason, if you're watching this later. I was going to go a little bit more in depth on this, but either way. Yeah. Hydrate. I think I'm kind of done for the most part. You know what? We haven't played marbles on stream. I was going to get that set up. I'm not even logged in. I'm so not set up. I'm going to say this though, if you guys are up for it, we can do another stream down the road and I will get marbles set up and we can do a giveaway. Twitch actually set their policy for payments from from all this. They set it up from the $100 to $50 for payout. So I actually ended up getting about 73 bucks from all of the other streams that I've done. So yeah, thanks everybody that's done subscriptions and done something to help with that. So I'll put that towards probably a property or something, and then we'll do a tile giveaway. I'll try to figure out where to do that. Maybe part of the UM project or Malta, we'll see. Or even just I'll stick to my Cradle Earth area. I'm not doing too much with that one right now, but maybe I should get some more people in there by doing it this way. Hey, no worries. Flevius, I hope you managed to get a little bit more out of it. I know you kind of started getting your head around this, and I know you're having a hard time probably understanding what I'm saying, but hopefully this at least can show you. Aw, thanks smooches. Definitely appreciate that. And yeah, thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to say farewell, and I will try and make my next stream not too far out, and I'm looking forward to this interview with Pacey. So hopefully that's going to be a fun one. Thanks everybody. Talk to you later.